That's not okay.
Who needs audio?
And okay, my mic's working. Hello, everyone. Pardon while I try to fix this. Um,
Not working.
there we go. Okay. Hopefully that sticks. Sorry, OBS updates change things. It's just because they decide to. Anyway, welcome everyone to another week of bad decisions. I hope everyone's week was well.
Yes.
Perfect.
Very well.
Well, let's
I
go
did
ahead.
not realize you were expecting an answer.
I'm always expecting an answer. But let's go ahead and jump into things. First, with a little bit of recap of last session. The bad decisions have been reintegrating themselves into society here, back in Terramesh, no longer on the open ocean. Tamberlay went to go see on any updates to any of the wares that Nably may be working on. Since you guys are on vacation and can do what you'd like to with your own time, that was one of the first things to her mind. And Nably appreciated the living mannequin as she worked on some of the newer designs.
Sweatshirts.
As far as everyone else goes, this was the morning, the day that Chadra almost killed herself, right?
Yep.
What? Okay.
Yeah, she tried to. First, she went to Fireballs and played with Dragon's Blood, and then tried shooting Valis on the way out, and her gun backfired. So, okay, I was just making sure it was the same day. Beyond that, for the rest of the people of the party, Twunk went to the Outfitters to talk to the individual that I believe Charles was the one that gave you that information, correct, Twunk?
Yep.
As to someone who might help assist Twunk in becoming a little bit more understood when it comes to speaking common. Little did he know, or probably the entire time did he know, that Lorona was not too far behind. But Twunk made it inside first, so Lorona waited outside, peering in until he was done. It was there that Twunk met the outfitter merchant, and come to realize that they were a changeling. And being of changeling descent, they've become accustomed to different ways of speaking, different dialects, and everything of the like. So they agreed to help Twunk with being a little bit more direct when talking. Unfortunately, nothing could be done until the next night, I believe, was the desired time for you guys to have your sessions.
That is correct. Twunk is a very active next day. Very social.
I think we have a new town liaison. Got it. Probably to the detriment of the town, to be honest, until Twunk gets through these classes. But nevertheless, the classes...
It's like, come on. Speak.
Just
Start
get
speaking.
It out.
No, I meant normal words.
But those classes are set up for Twunk. Tamberlay and Twunk have their own classes set up as well. For the mornings. Chadra relegated herself to inside safety all day for the most of the rest of the day. And
She napped.
yeah, and Valis went out and wanted to do something nice. After going to the apothecary and talking to the tabaxi that run it on what might be some of their specific home style cuisine, in if they have anything that that they grow and produce here that would go in line with that, something that might not be easily found in this area. You were given instructions, directions, and after making a trip to Volgarts, they helped you with preparations, as well as the smokehouse, who smoked the meat and sliced it for you. So by the end of the day, after Chadra had her nap, Tamberlake got done with Nably. Lorona bought a few wares from the outfitter once Twunk was finally done talking to him. Well, not even completely then. She had to butt her way, and she was tired of being outside.
She lost patience.
Like, drow aren't sunlight sensitive in my world, but even drow will get tired of standing in the sun after a while. But as everyone coalesced for dinner, they were able to enjoy, at least most and to a degree, the meal that Valis had gotten prepared for everyone. Shortly after this, Chadra wanted to send a letter. Found out that Charles no longer facilitates letters going back to Lonatov anymore, since there is a embassy. She made her way over, and once inside, she realized that there was an outstanding meeting for whenever she returned back to the town. And so, with no preparation or foresight, she was thrust into this meeting. Luckily, she's on relatively good terms with the liaison to this town. This being Maxium's mom. And after a brief discussion between... How would you describe that relationship, Chadra?
If it were up to my mother, my future mother-in-law,
Yeah, but what would Chadra consider her?
a family friend. Or a family acquaintance, probably.
Okay.
Family connection.
I mean, like, I don't know exactly the relation. We've never really exactly established how long Chadra and Maxim have known each other.
I would
So-
put it about half your age.
Well, yeah, then I'd say probably the parent, like my friend's mom at that point, I guess. I would go so far as to say that
Okay.
which is why they have the weird relationship that they do.
All right. So Max is
How
mom.
Valis almost had a thing for her.
Yeah. So after that, sort of abrupt meeting between the two of them, Chadra came away with probably a better outcome than she was expecting of an abrupt meeting with a drow higher up. But there's definitely that worry of, oh god, mother's gonna hear about this.
Yep.
But with that, I believe everyone got a long night's rest.
Yep. We did, that's for sure. I can tell you that.
Because you clicked the button.
Uh-huh.
And we would be returning, starting session in the morning, waking up to the smell of, seems to be like heated oats or porridge of some sort. Take it away. One.
I'll probably go downstairs. Maybe not like. I mean, I'm gonna wake up. Valis is trying to wake up earlier. Okay, he's trying to Just trying to be the go-getter.
Time is it?
What time would
Are
you
you
try to
coming?
wake up?
What time? What time are you down here trying to go to sleep or trying to get some breakfast? Because I have a long-standing established. Yeah, you're not gonna beat me down here.
No, I would wake up way before that.
Listen,
You're still not even close to the first person down. Like we've long established that Chandra gets downstairs at like 5 fucking a.m. Tamberlay's usually down by about like 5:30 or 6. Twunk is like,
Yeah.
I think Twunk might be the last one typically, but that's just not meaning that he's the last one awake.
It depends on how much.
Yeah, so
To
Timberlake's-
mentally prepare himself for the day before he actually comes down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that Val's like, I'm gonna go down early. 8. 8?
Yeah, Timberlake's down there, like, drinking coffee, getting ready for, like, prepping herself to talk to Twunk and trying to figure out, like, how's this going to go down? Because yesterday wasn't a big day. So, kind of watching Chadra taking notes like she always does. Like, I don't even know what you're writing in there. You just woke up. Does your brain move that fast?
I feel like Chandra would have like stolen a newspaper from Lanatov and just constantly be rereading it.
Keep up on current events.
I mean, what does that have to do with us?
The comings and goings of the world, we could be contracted at any time to go somewhere.
You are correct, we could, and as soon as we are contracted, I will be all about learning where we're going. But
I just
haven't we been all over the place already, and we already know what's going on? More than, I don't know, whatever's in that paper?
Well, the news is a very fluid thing, so it's, it's constantly
Where'd you even
changing.
get that?
From the embassy.
Oh, alright. I'm gonna go grab some coffee. Do you want more?
Yes.
And she will go grab some more coffee. Thank Charles for it.
Yeah, he'd pour you a coffee, then pour a smaller cup off to the side for Chadra.
I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think Twunk would actually be here, because I think he actually would have left at light,
All right.
unless I've miscounted the days. I believe
No, you're right.
I believe he said he was going with Nathaniel this morning.
Mm-hmm. This would be a Nathaniel morning. So, just like last time, he'd be waiting outside the food market area for your arrival. Him now knowing, at least this being the second time you guys have done this, roughly when to
Giggity.
expect you. Easy killer. As you approach from the same direction you approached last time, now that he knows where to look, he'll sort of meet you not halfway from the intersection, but we'll make a little bit of a distance towards you. So, meeting you like about here. You everything ready?
Yes, I've collected my mind and body for the trials ahead.
All right. Same as last time. And you guys start making your way into the forest. I believe it was an hour and a half trip. Into the forest.
Yeah, along the way, as I mentioned before, it's he's going to start attempting to make like a mental image in his mind of like of the path he is taking so that he can transfer it to their at least the group's personal map.
Gotcha. One
Both for future reference and then also just like practicing.
Yeah. I'm just setting up something on the other map real quick.
I'll let you guys know there was a huge fire in Terramesh like a month ago.
All right. So, the white circle is roughly the area of the small clearing slash area where the trees grew that have the plants from your homeland. Contradicting names between the two of you, but you can see now that, as he had said, that last bit of fruit that he sold the other day was the last being born on the vine here. You can see the plants are going into their hibernative state, and probably won't see any of that fruit for another 4 to 5 months. He shows you the origination point of the, he calls it the egg. As you can see, it's about a 4 or 5 minute walk past the little clearing of those hibernating plants into the forest. Not quite another clearing in itself, but definitely a thinning of trees in the area. Once you guys are here, he shows you where he retrieved this egg. Someone scraping their mic.
Oh, sorry, I was scratching my foot. Sorry about that.
It just sounded.
It felt so good, I forgot that it made noise.
It shows you. You can see the hole too, where this egg had been yoinked from. The different sort of tendrils of vines that come out of the center point from it as well. All of these, which, because he doesn't have the egg on him, he left the egg back at home. It weighs a little bit too much for him to just be trudging around. And he was slightly hopeful that when he came out here the second time, he'd have one to take back. But you could see the hole in which it sat. And even though it looked like that egg was connected, at least inside the hole itself, which is just a small little basin between in the vines, there are little points to it that seem to have been broken off, probably where this egg was removed. But the vines, though they seem thick and still alive to a degree, the coloration to them is weird for such a verdant forest. It's more of like a dark muck color. Like it'd be more akin or it seems like it would be something that would be in a bog or something of the like. That like dark, decaying vegetation sort of mulch color. But you test the vine, you kind of scrape at it a little bit, and inside it's living and green. Doesn't seem to react to your poking and prodding. There's no excessive moisture to the outside of it, or mucus, or anything like that. But they do extend and run up trees and go through underbrush, but it's quite extensive in sort of all directions. And Nathaniel will say that he followed the vines in either direction for about 10 minutes of walking, and he still didn't find the end.
When did you first discover this plant?
It was about, say, about 3 weeks to a month after you left. And the only reason I saw it was I came to reap some harvest and noticed one of the vines, sort of creeping out into the clearing. And he'll go back and he'll show you the vine that was starting to aim towards where the plants are that he harvests from, and you can see sort of like these little stakes have been put into the ground, and maybe he physically or whatever, but he rerouted the vine to go back into the forest.
So this plant is unusual, much like those of the, as you call, gobbledygook. It seems out of place from where one could normally encounter it.
Yeah, no, it definitely does not seem like it belongs here. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I mean, he gestures to the vines. It doesn't seem to be harming the forest at all. None of the trees have been felled or seem to be, absorbing the life or the water out of them. I haven't seen any negative impact, but I don't know, maybe you see something I don't.
I guess with that thought, Monk might possibly give a closer observation and just to see, basically a closer inspection to see if there's something that could be more easily missed from a casual glance.
Sure, go ahead and give me a perception check.
You know what? Just to be safe, it's my first Monk is going to look over to him before saying, "I ask that you not allow yourself to lose your composure."
He kind of looks at you gives you a thumbs up and a nod.
I call upon the wisdom and fortitude of the dragon. And much like others have seen, but Nathaniel for the first time, it's suddenly gains a glowing white starlight draconic mask, and it's a claws and visage. As I'm just gonna go ahead and use my my wild shape to take on the form of the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Before
As that
making
starts
this
to
roll.
happen, he goes, "Oh, that's what you meant." As he kind of backs up a little bit.
And then now I will also do this with also guidance, because why the fuck?
Why the fuck?
Didn't even need it, but it'll be useful for other things in this time period. Oh, not time period, this period of time.
Go
It's
ahead and roll a d4 just to be safe.
28. I meant more the usage of my wild shape because I wound up rolling
The
I
first one, yeah.
think it's like a 19 on a die.
Yep. But better be safe than sorry. Looking at the vines, you already did a lot of the druid testing, the scraping, the feeling, the everything that initially came to your mind as to possibly the origination or what this thing is doing or what it's living off of, anything like that. You also agree with Nathaniel that it doesn't seem to be choking the forest. It doesn't seem to be. It's really only invasive in the sheer fact that it's spreading so much, but other than that, it doesn't seem to actually be being a detriment to at least any of the flora here. You're not sure about the fauna because you haven't seen fauna in this direction, but that would make sense as you guys have made your way here, and probably the very pungent odor of the gobbledygook doesn't really sit too well with some of the animals. But you're giving everything the 10th degree, trying to find out if it looks like anything. You can see that the vines grow off of a main vine and then they'll branch out into smaller vines, but you can tell that those smaller vines will eventually grow to the size of the main vine. So beyond the few couple tendrils that are coming off of it, you can't tell where where's the main root of it besides that little basin area that the egg, quote unquote, most likely sat in. But as far as living in this forest goes, besides it obviously being from somewhere else, it doesn't seem to be negatively impacting the forest at all.
Here's that this plant has not only made its home here, but also treats it as its home.
Nathaniel's kind of still not as wide-eyed as when you initially did the transformation, but like, oh, all right.
Probably realizing it's like I will try that one more time. This plant does not appear that it will harm the forest around it.
I mean, not sure what this means, honestly. Do you think this is a compelling factor? Or compounding factor? Two things that aren't from here growing here?
Does seem as though, for whatever reason, many different animals and plants from potentially many corners of this world can be found and are capable of residing here. You and I, we have explored so much of the wilds here. Who is to say what more could be found?
Well, I don't want to stay out here too long. Market will be probably open by the time we make it back. Just thought somebody else should know. besides just the note I sent into Verifone. But let's make it back. Doesn't seem like we're gonna bear any fruit out here.
This is one of those common jokes.
Yeah, it wasn't really a good one. I know.
I would not know what a good and a bad joke would be.
Well, let's just say it landed somewhere in the middle then. Kind of gives you a little smile.
He will return the smile. But yes, I
As a
would not
dragon.
wish to keep you from your business. Oh yeah, just like he's forgotten it's still on.
Yeah. Probably another reason why Nathaniel wants to go home.
Just like I saw more this morning, and like I only just had coffee earlier.
Yeah. So after you say that little piece, he'll start trudging back to Teramesh. So this time, everyone else would have made it down while Twonk's away. Down for breakfast. Tamberlay and Shadra, you're greeted with Valis and Lorona, eventually. Valis probably being like, I'm gonna get down there early. Oh, gets up, gets out into the hallway as Lorona's already heading down. Just like, ah. Okay, 7:45 tomorrow. But you all meet at the breakfast table, minus Twonk.
Morning.
Morning. She'll set down her treats for everyone. There's one for Shadra and Alice of the glowworms, and then she gave Tamberlay for trail mix. Whatever. I'm not sure if that's what it's called there, but
Yeah.
that
It is now.
There's also one for Twonk when he comes.
Tamberlay goes, "What's this?" And you go, "Well, it's a mix of nuts and fruits to eat while you're out hiking on the trails." And she goes, "Trail mix, got it."
God. Let's just call it what it is.
Valis goes to probably eat all of them at once before Chadra gives him the death stare. And he'll relegate to eating one.
So, what is it that we're up to today? Anyone?
We haven't really discussed yet.
Yeah, I don't know that we have any families.
To go against Twonk's teaching, I think that's what I was trying to do, was discuss what we're going to do today.
Val's just saying, well, we're on vacation, so...
Yeah, well, we're not just going to sit around here and do nothing all day. Are we?
Valis is still just trying to get the attention off of him so as he can sneak another glowworm.
I mean, we could all take the day and go swimming. There is a lake to the north of here.
Wasn't that the
Or we
lake
could
where
just
something didn't something happen at that lake?
Yeah, that's where you guys found some dead bodies.
Ah, no big.
I mean, that was months ago.
Do we have to go through the forest for that?
I mean, there's a road, or there's a trail up there at least. On the map, it looks more like a road.
It's an old Bourne trail, still in semi-function. It was the main source of fresh water when the town was first constructed, until they could tap the wells and do everything.
Okay.
And is still used for fishing by the fish vendor.
I mean, I don't think it would hurt anybody if we went swimming for a little while. I mean, we're only going to have so much more of the warming season left. Or the hot season, whatever the fuck season it is right now. Because I'm off my seasons right now, but it's the hot season right now, right? Like near the end, or is it part of the cooling season?
I think so.
Hold on, pulling up the calendar.
Check your newspaper.
Yeah, we
I'm trying
are
to think the other game too.
for the end of the hot season.
Okay. Yeah, we only have a few more, a little longer for the hot season, and then it's gonna start getting colder. And from what we have been told about this area, it gets real cold.
Snows a bit.
Hmm.
It only snows a bit.
Well, other than you, most people would think of that as cold. I mean, we've got warm clothes now, so it's not a big deal, but I'd rather take advantage of as much sunlight as we can get for as long as we can get. Since we've been on a boat or fighting for our lives for the last couple of months. But anyway, if anybody's up for it, I'm going. I'm not going to sit here and do nothing all day long. And Natalie's busy, so I don't want to be in her way.
Val's wanted to do some stuff in town, so he'd skipped the swim.
See, there's where I have a problem. Leaving Valis to his own devices. But no, you know what? I'm gonna overlook it. Wait till Twunk gets back and then propose the idea to him as well, and then head up to the lake.
Are you gonna say something, Lorona?
Well, I was just gonna. You said that the drow they're not affected by the sunlight in your world, right?
No.
Okay, well then she'll go. She'll go with Tam then.
Wait.
Just gotta put on extra sunscreen.
Yeah.
Right. You would want to get purple. Chadra?
I have things to take care of in town as well.
Right. You're gonna have to go outside eventually.
Go outside plenty.
Valis will probably have a weird look on his face and be like, you know, what's this? I don't think I've ever seen you in a swimsuit.
You don't need a swimsuit to go outside.
She
I don't
does
think that
know
was
how
the
to
point,
swim.
but I mean,
And Valis thinks to himself, you know what? Neither my mom. And then suddenly the image goes away. It's like, nope, never mind.
But Max's mom.
Got it going on. Sorry.
Mhm.
yeah, I guess I'll wait till Twunk gets back to see if he wants to go with us.
All right. Twonk, you make it back. Probably about an hour into them all coalescing together and having breakfast.
Like a Twunk comes in. So the sun beats upon all our faces warmly.
Morning to you two. Hey, Lauren and I were thinking of going north to the lake to get some sun and do some swimming and just relaxing since we have the day off. You want to join us?
Swimming in a lake that was known to be home to a creature with more minds than most creatures have limbs.
That's the one.
What?
Well, I mean, I was assuming there was something living there, but I mean,
Monk looking over to Lorona. I believe the creature is known as a Hydra. One was slain some time ago in that very lake.
That's what it was.
You're sure you want to go swimming in that Timberlake?
I'm just putting it out there. The people next door go fishing there every day, and they still come back.
Fishing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not talking
I-
about like going out in the middle of the lake and going swimming. I'm thinking of sticking to the shore.
Did you ask which sort of fishing they accomplished in that lake?
Not really. I just assume if they do it every day, even if they're doing like, going out and catching fish with a net or using fishing rods or something like that, they're still in the lake or around it, so it shouldn't be too dangerous around the edge.
At what time of day do they do this fishing?
I believe they do it in the morning, because they're usually open till around. Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're usually open till around like early afternoon, and then they close up.
About noon.
Yeah.
I ask because there are certain advantages to applying creatures of the sea in the morn, but it also is dependent on which creatures you wish to encounter and capture for yourself, as far as when you choose to fish, as some creatures are more active in some parts of the day than the other.
I understand. I'm not even going to fish. I'm just going there to relax. Like jump in the water, get wet, jump out, get a tan, relax on the shore. I'm not even gonna go there and make noise or anything like that. I just go in, get out. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, if the fisher people are still there, I'll stay next to them and then ask when I should leave. And if I see them on the way back, I'll definitely inquire as to whether it is safe enough to go there or not.
If
I'm not
I
trying to
recall
get killed.
correctly from our previous journey, it will require 3 hours of walking to arrive at the lake.
Alright. Well then, I better get going.
This journey is your desire. I would rather not allow you and Nerona to leave for this alone. And perhaps this would be an opportunity to focus more on your training.
So talk on the way there and on the way back.
Probably for the first time in a long while, possibly ever, though I'm thinking about it, you see Twunk have an interesting smile on his face.
Alright. Hang on a second, and she will dash upstairs and grab a towel. We have towels here, right?
Yeah.
Grab a towel. Well, a couple of them. If we have more than one. If I have more than one. Run back downstairs. Alright, ready to go.
So the three of you are heading north?
Yep, I guess that's what they're doing.
I mean, if Lorona still wants to go, yeah.
Yeah, we can. I'll go with tag along.
Sweet. Let's go. I'll have my axe on my back just in case.
Yeah, she's not going unarmed either.
I'd hope not. That would hurt.
Yeah, well.
Funny.
It's also unbalanced, but yeah. See, I guess we're going to be walking for 3 hours.
Roger that.
So, incidentally, at the beginning of this trek, Wonk is going to look to Tamberlay. So your additional training begins now.
Alright.
We shall be working on our ability to wait for the world.
What do you mean by that? Wait for the world.
You may desire for the world to bend as you please, but sometimes it is important to allow the world to bend in its own time.
Think I understand?
So for this purpose, as part of your training, you shall endure for as long as you can without uttering but a single wind.
Alright.
Basically, for the next 3 hours, Twunk is suggesting that
I not
that
speak?
Tamberlay go as long as she can without speaking.
Yep.
And
Yeah, about 30
live
minutes
with
later,
that
she starts humming
silence.
to herself. She's walking happily along. She starts humming.
All right.
The full
30 minutes
carnival.
was longer than I expected.
Wow. I didn't say anything.
wind
Did you
from
make
thy
no sound
nose
at
is
all?
the wind from thy nose, not wind.
Oh, that's so boring. Are you kidding me? I'm not trying to be a monk, Twunk.
But
I mean, I understand patience, but nothing at all. That's just so boring. How do you do that?
Make peace with the world around you, or you make peace with the world within you. You find a harmony between both. But in doing so, we discover patience.
So, which one should I do? Within me or around me?
Whichever draws your soul the most.
Alright. And she'll look at Lorona like, I don't understand, but I'll try. And then look back at
Lorona.
Twunk and nod. Start walking and try not to make any noise at all. In fact, if you're up for it, Lorna, she's going to hand you the towels.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to try to keep quiet, she is going to stealth into the forest along with y'all and try not to make any noise at all.
okay. Go ahead and give me stealth with disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
You've gone off the path. You're now dealing with twigs and everything, and if you're trying to keep up with their speed, which
I mean,
walking normally, it's not that easy. Say for a while you do pretty good. For the next about half an hour, you weave through the forest as much as you can, trying to keep up with their speed. They've slowed down a little bit, to help keep pace. Until eventually, you kind of like go over a fallen tree, and on the other side, you end up just like immediately stepping on a couple twigs and just crack, 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 and you're just like, shit, shit.
I'm all right. Shit.
Most foul wind indeed.
Yeah, well, it hurt, all right.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. It just hurt for a second. I branches and shit. All right, that didn't work either. And she'll grab the towels back from you. No. Let me try this again. And you can move on to anybody else. It's fine.
Okay.
She lasts about a half an hour every single time. She does her best.
So Valis is just making his way to a couple shops. He sent me a list of things he wants to get. So he's just facilitating that, and he's going to pay sticker price for everything, because that's Valis. Chadra is...
One shopkeep is like, I made this one as a joke, but okay.
Go for it. If it sells, it sells. And Chedra is tinkering, fixing her gun, and tinkering on some other things. So it's mainly you guys right now, as you guys head up to the lake. Say another hour and a half goes by as you guys start to finally pull around the corner and see the lake ahead.
How far from the road? Like, how far from the lake are we when we are on the road to see the lake? Like, is it like
Because
200 feet, a mile, a half a mile?
yeah, the last turn of this little path that you guys are on towards the lake, it kind of like turns at the last moment. So, like if you're back on the road a little bit and you're looking straight ahead, you can see that the road turns, but there's trees directly in front and to the side. So it blocks your view of the lake up until the point that you turn that corner, and then it's about 200 feet to the edge of the lake.
Okay. She's gonna be doing her best the entire time. And the second we turn that corner, she sees the lake. She's like, "Whoa!" and throws the towels behind her and like hits Twunk in the face with them on accident, and just bolts towards the water.
She's like, I'm done.
We're here. Bye.
Almost made it to 31.
Got to 30-30. All right. So Taberley, you run, sprint, leap, curl, ball, splash.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. The other two, after you are left in a cloud of dust about 200 feet away, what would you like?
Lorona doesn't want to get in the water, so she'll just set the towels out for Tamberley. When she gets out, she has somewhere to lay.
Okay.
Actually, like, Twunk will sit next to her. I don't know what it is about like Twunk and talking near large bodies of water, but
Here's the soul.
how have you been coming to know this place? Has it fulfilled your soul in some way, or do you feel as though there is something lacking?
Well, I like it. I'm still learning about the area. Can you tell me what kind of thing is supposed to be in that water?
I have never seen one with mine own eyes, but it is, as I described, a monstrous creature that supposedly has more minds than most creatures have limbs, and potentially many more.
Hmm. She's just gonna be eyeing the water around Tamberley, watching her.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Sorry, I clicked on something and it pulled up a different tab.
It's all good. Let me
Damn.
bring you guys over.
It's with these die 19 perception checks.
Hopefully.
Not hopefully it is. Like, that's a 19 plus 8.
Slightly offset. There we go. Don't mind the fall coloration to this. It was meant for a different season. All right. So, as Tamberley has cascaded into the water, and you guys have found a place to sit, you actually find a small campsite. That's a nice little spot to sit, and it has a small little estuary that runs off into the forest, but you can see that it ends not that far away. So go ahead and pull your tokens out onto the map.
Oh no. Did not expect this to be fatal.
What's your jump distance, Temperley?
Don't jump distance.
Yeah, from
How do I
around-
calculate that?
It would be 19 maximum,
Okay.
and only if she has a 10-foot start.
Oh, she was bolting the entire time, so.
Oh yeah, I was.
So we'll say you're 20 feet out.
Ooh.
Twunk, are you on the map?
Oh no, not yet. Sorry, I was on a different tab. Where are the tokens? Oh, there it is.
So, Laron, as you're looking out into the water around Tamberlane, you can see that there's debris in the water. And then you also notice
Boom, boom, boom.
there are things floating, or not. There are things floating in the water, but they seem to be connected to these other contraptions that seem to be stationary in the water. There's one. Let's see real quick. I can search for it. Nope. There's one here. There's one here. One here. One here. One here and one here. They have they seem to be wooden, and they jut out of the water just barely off out of the top, maybe about 4 to 5 inches, and then they seem to have a rope or a string or something attached to them that's then attached to this little thing that's floating on top of the water. All of them have things that are floating except for this one. That little floating device has been pushed up against the part of the wooden structure that's coming out of the water, and it seems to be up against it tightly, so that way it's not bobbing with the water that the waves are now doing to the rest of them.
So they're like traps from for the fishermen.
Probably.
Okay.
And what? Oh, 27? Okay. So you also will see that there's obviously debris floating in the water, but then there is also floating in the water. Get out of my way, thank you. Floating in the water, not too far away from her.
Three dragon heads.
No.
So I need to search for it because I don't have it on the lower section. There we go. Something in the water over here.
Am I able to investigate to see if I know what it is?
You would need to go up and retrieve it to investigate it.
Oh, I'm not going in there.
I mean, it doesn't say you have to go in there. You could get Tablet to come bring it to you. You could try and throw something attached to a rope and hook it in and bring it in.
Oh, I do have rope.
Just saying that to investigate it means to like tactilely touch it, feel it, see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, your perception check got you to be able to see it in the water, but to get any more information off of it, you need to bring it in closer.
Is it moving?
Just with the waves, it's floating on the surface.
Okay. Well, okay, let's use the rope and try to drag it in.
Okay.
Is everything is something amiss, Verona?
There's something in the water, not far from Timberlake. I just want to see what it is.
Timberlake's just backstroke kicking. Going in
Nah,
circles.
she dove in, and then she's just gone underwater. Hasn't surfaced for like the last 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, 'cause she can breathe underwater.
How deep are you going?
No, I mean, she's not gonna be that far underneath. She's just
Okay.
really excited about this new ability, and she's looking around, like checking the water out.
This ability that she told nobody.
Yeah.
So
Nobody.
like Twunk is immediately concerned. It's like she hasn't returned for air in some time.
Did she forget I did not give her the lungfish today? You could.
Yeah, she'll be under there for a couple of minutes, and then she'll pop back up and go right back to shore, and
give me
you know,
a perception check with disadvantage while you're
Perception.
down there.
with advantage or without
With disadvantage.
disadvantage. Okay.
Yeah. As you get deeper, you can tell that probably in the next month or two there's going to be a decently heavy algae bloom. So this entire lake's going to be like not viable for seeing under. And you can notice that
Okay.
by the bottom layer, some of it has already started blooming. So
Okay.
you get down more than like 15 feet and it becomes just a mess of trying to see shit.
Okay.
Lorona, as you're prepping that and telling Twonk, go ahead and roll me just a dexterity check.
So that was a 14. I don't know why it didn't show up.
Roger that. Like I said, you can see that the algae bloom is probably going to happen. Maybe less than a month.
Okay.
Plenty of fish are scattering and running away from you. You do catch sight of these two fishing traps and check them out, and they are fishing traps. This one is a lot more full than this one, hence the tighter flotation bobber that's attached to it. And you can see that inside the trap underneath, it's a net that's connected to the bobber, and as it fills up with fish, the net like slowly cinches around all of them.
Okay. Well, noticing the traps, I will get out of the water.
So stay there for now.
Okay.
This is an immediate thing that's happening. Oh, stuff's happening at the same time. Lorona,
Okay.
you toss the rope in once. No joy. Way off to the right.
Okay. Can she do it again?
Yeah. You haven't lost the rope.
Okay.
Are you lassoing it? Yeehaw.
You throw it and it hits, but then slides off. It moved it a little bit.
And it's not moving other than
Nope.
just the water. Okay.
And from what, the rope did to move it as it fell off of it.
Okay, she'll try one more time.
All right.
Jeez.
You throw it, it
She's not.
it clips it again and moves it slightly over some more, but your rope just sort of just glides off of it. It was already slightly moving in this direction from your first throw, so you kind of just pushed it a little more.
Okay. And she still can't see what it is. It's too far away.
You're at, yeah, you'd have to, like I said, either bring it in or
Oh.
it be within 10 feet of you for you to understand what it might,
Oh.
get a chance at understanding what it is.
How far out it is exactly in the water?
Currently, she's moved it enough to be about 15 feet in the water.
Twonk will
From the closest down
call.
tree that's near there.
Twonk will call over to Lorona. Do you require an aiding paw?
Sure.
Give her guidance.
Twonk might offer an alternative solution to throwing a rope at it, as he's going to walk over near Lorona and instead bring it forward using the starlight, i.e., he's using Mage Hand.
Yep. Okay. Pushing it through the water. Okay. So you cast Mage Hand, goes over to it. It's too heavy to lift, probably because it's waterlogged. So the Mage Hand, just like a child paddleboarding in a swimming pool, pushes over this thing to the edge of the water. You gonna pick it up, Lorona?
Yeah.
Okay. For you, it's simple enough to definitely move over and grab it. It is pretty heavy, though. What's your strength score? Is it 8 or 10?
12.
12? Okay, then it's not a problem for you.
Yeah. Most of her stats are in that middle area.
Yeah. So with the 12, it's heavy, but it's not a problem as you pick it up and just like it just unleashes water from it, and it gets lighter as more water drains off and from it. It seems to be slightly silver color in nature, but it's got a lot of muck, grime, and algae on it. So it's going to need a good cleaning before you can figure out what it is. But if you want to, you can give me an investigation check. She comes back over with the thing in front of you, Twunk. Twunk, you can also give me an investigation check.
Okie doke.
Initially, for you, Lorona, it kind of looks like some sort of silver shield.
I'll try to guide it himself.
Of some sort of make and model.
Not much better. 11.
And you're kind of like, this is weird. You're noticing that there's not really a design to it, but it does seem to have like ridges to it, almost kind of like a possibly a leather wrapped shield or something that is the bumps from underneath are some sort of design that the wrappings are covering or trying to protect or whatnot. Twonk, give me a nature check. As you're trying to as you're getting some of the gunk off of this thing, you're examining the gunk and you're examining the shield.
12.
Tablet, by now you would have pressed it out of the water, flipping the hair.
Little Mermaid style.
Yep. And at the same time, Twunk, you taking off the gunk from the shield, you realize that it's not so much flotsam, and it's very much more decaying matter. And there's a few things that you've seen in the past that have had this sort of reaction, and you realize that it is the last thing that has made any sort of resemblance to this type of gunk specifically. Definitely not in the amount that you have, but in the same vein, just a lot smaller in quantity, was the like water bearded dragons that you guys had on the island. When their molt gets into the water and is there for a while and sort of attracts bugs and other insects to live in it and eat and then defecate in it and everything, it becomes this grotesque mass.
It appears that this object is covered in remains of another creature. Potentially its leavings.
So, Tammy, you can get yourself out of the water now.
Okay. I'll just start wringing out my hair.
Okay, 20 minutes later. Lorona, even though the picture shows it more coming down into a point, it's a little more square in reality. But it is, after getting all of the goings, or the leavings, as Spunk said, it's decently shiny on one side, some sort of like silver color to the outside on one side of it. On the other side, it almost seems like pot-marked brown hide on the inside.
Okay.
But yeah.
Plunk starts like muttering to himself, like, which corner did this come from?
Corner.
Apologies, that is short for corner of the world.
Oh, okay.
As Twunk kind of like gestures at the lake. As I think we basically like because like there weren't any like connecting bodies into this lake, like at least like superficially, was there? Because I know we went up here a little bit, but I'm not sure if we went far enough to see if it was connected to anything.
You guys haven't physically seen it yourselves, but there is runoff from the mountains. It doesn't cut wide rivers. It's very thin streams that will feed into this lake. But the mountains do feed down into it.
Well, actually, I guess,
you guys came across one of the rivers when you were dealing with the blink dogs.
Oh yeah, we came across one of those rivers. I just don't, like I said, it was more just like if it even like connected to this spot or not, because we never got that far.
Correct.
In either case, but actually, I guess maybe that was like covered by that investigation check, but like, does the item actually seem decayed, or was it just like covered in this stuff? Like as
Um,
we're like clearing more of the gunk off of it.
Yeah, it was sort of covered. It's more of the gunk that is the decay. This seems to be, though pockmarked on the inside, it seems to be solid, and one side of it's not even touched.
This item does seem to be quite resilient. No, not when it made its home here, but something of these materials normally not last so long in such a rich environment.
And as far as size of this thing goes, it is width-wise at its widest point, just under 3 feet, and height-wise, just under 3 feet as well. But it doesn't come as quite to a point as the picture, but it does taper down a bit.
Where is that picture? Because I don't think I saw it.
It's on top of Lorona.
Oh, okay. You put it on the.
Yeah.
It's like I thought it was like posted or something.
No. Just a token.
Can she take it over to Tamberley and show it to her?
Yeah. Da do 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 do. Go over to Timberlake. Weep. She's still wringing out her hair.
Tamberley, do you know what this is?
Tamberlake? She fell asleep wringing out her hair. She just got
It
real
is quite a
tired.
chore.
What was that, Lorena?
I said it is quite a chore.
Yeah. She didn't realize swimming was going to take that much out of her. And by the time she got onto the shore, she just starts wringing out her hair and then just... I'm just gonna take a nap. As you and Twunk are like inspecting it, walking over. Tablet, do you know what this... You just see her curl.
Guess what?
Oh, she wakes up.
Well, I'm awake. I'm listening.
Oh, we talked to you 3 times.
Or did you? I'm so sorry.
They
It
brought...
was a really long day. I'm sorry.
It's all good. They brought over the item to you and asked you if you know what this is.
Do I know what it is?
Give me an investigation check.
Oh, not bad.
Okay. Give me a history check.
Just call me Bryn and get it over with. Yeah.
You recognize it, but you can't place it. You're having a hard time. You're like, God, that looks so familiar, but what was it from? I'll let you get another history check at it. Because with that,
You know who would know about this? Chatter would know all about this, I bet. No. Chatter would know all about this. I mean, if you want me to carry it back, I will. I don't mind.
it has gotten lighter that you guys have gotten all the gunk off of it and the water has run off of it a lot. But it still does weigh about 10 pounds.
It's not bad.
But
I suppose if there is some sort of value to this object, it would be better to divine it than simply to leave it.
Are you going to cast a spell on it, or are you talking about taking it back and having it identified?
I know not if there is one within Terramesh that can identify such things.
Mm. And you said it was a square, right?
not quite a perfect square. It tapers down at the end, just not as much of a point as the token shows.
Is it a shield, or is it just
That's
some weird piece of metal?
That's about as close as you guys have discerned so far.
Okay.
It's some sort of.
So there's nothing on the inside. There's nothing on the other
The-
side. There's no markings or
The
anything.
inside
or-
is just a pop marked, almost hide-like material, and then on the other side, it's like a silver-looking, reflective.
Is this a dragon scale?
You guys have not figured out what it is yet, but it is.
No, I said that out loud.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't have the southern twang to it.
Scale?
I'm not sure.
Hell. I mean, if Chatter doesn't know about it, then Veriform might.
Veriforn has yet to return from excursion.
True. Maybe Charles could help out, though. I mean, we haven't broken anything for the whole day that we've been back. Well, I mean, so far.
Tentatively, the number of days since an accident sign is tentatively at 3 days?
Let's just say it just says the bad decisions are back in town.
Oh wait, no, you know what? No, it would currently only read 1 day because definitely somebody assumed that an accident happened
Well,
after.
Chandra did blow herself up twice.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Well,
That's why they say bad decisions are back, because they don't want to have to pay someone full time to sit there and constantly be updating. They just put up less than symbol and 1, and just leave it at that.
the faith they have in us. I mean,
I mean, you guys have not been back that long and already had a few accidents.
just
Tonk will
because
say
it's true doesn't make it nice.
the leavings we found on this object. It remind me of something that would happen with the bearded dragons of my isles. Not
Yeah?
dragons. Just like
I can totally Tamerlane being like, oh, your dragons have beards?
I mean, I hear they get old, but I didn't know they grow facial hair too.
They have a belt of dwarven kind on?
now you guys are making me think of like if Nyx grew a goatee.
Long wizard beard.
I suppose, have you finished with your swim?
I mean, swimming. Yeah, I don't want to fuck up the fishing. I mean, because it looks like there's a lot of traps around here, and I don't want to screw up their business just because I want to swim. I mean, I do want to swim. I really do. But I've taken my dip. I would mind if you wouldn't mind. I mean, I know it took a long time to get here. I would like to relax and, enjoy the sun for a little bit. I mean, are we in a hurry to get back?
At this moment, we are not. I personally have no such plans until this evening.
I mean, my only plans are to go back and make sure that Chad is still alive. And Valis hasn't broken anything or thrown up on it. Or fallen off of it. Or slipped on something. So yeah, I'm pretty free. Lorona?
I'm fine with staying.
So, Tamberlane will just kind of shrug and go over to the towel that Lorna already laid out and kind of lay down on it for a little bit.
Roger that.
Assuming that Twunk isn't, like, weird about it, she'll lay on her stomach and pop off her bikini top and just kind of... Nobody wants tan lines.
Oh, that's what those look like.
I mean, not that Twunk would know he's covered in fur.
It seems like they would get in the way.
Oh, no, she's laying on her stomach.
Like you said,
not
it
gonna
seems
be
like
like
they would
that.
get in the way.
Oh, well. It's actually quite comfortable, thank you.
It's like, just like wondering the whole time, how would one lay flat with those getting in the way?
God.
More counts. But you guys relax, soak in the sun, and just chill lakeside for a little bit.
Yeah.
Twunk, go ahead and give me a perception check. Though you may be in a relaxed state, your senses are always ready.
Oh no, Lorona farted.
Oh my god.
What?
She had a nap toot. No, not quite. You do catch not a heavy scent. It's very light, and the only reason that
After you said farted.
after focusing on things earlier, you catch the sense a little bit easier than you would have if you hadn't. But the smell of that sort of decaying material that you cleaned off of this shield seems to be floating in from the lake. A little bit more of it. You're just not sure exactly where.
Oh, like it just like suddenly
It's not so much
occurred
suddenly.
more, or is just
It's like more like maybe the wind changed direction a little bit, and you picked up another like conglomeration of that goopy material.
Ooh.
So I mean, technically suddenly, but not like a violent.
yeah,
snap
it might more like
effects.
suddenly realize it's there.
Yeah, but it's coming from probably with your nose and that check, the direction of it closer to right about here-ish, a little bit further out than where Tamberley was.
That tabaxi curiosity.
No matter how wise, the cat must be curious.
Twunk looks to the other two. I believe I smell more of that substance. And with that, Twunk is going to. I'm going to say like he was like meditating up until this point, like get up and like he starts stripping.
He starts what?
Getting naked.
Oh, to get in the water.
You don't know. Twunk might also not want tan lines.
Yeah, stripped save for his gloves. He
Thought you were gonna say strip save
like
for his socks.
no, he doesn't have to worry about the sock thing because there are two women here. But unless he like receives comments otherwise, like he's going to like dive into the water himself and like swimming over to where he thinks he is like smelling that substance, or at least
I mean, I'll
a
go
source
with
of
him.
it.
You gonna go with him, Sam?
Yeah.
Okay. He explains that he's following the scent of more of things.
Right. Okay.
And you guys start to head out in that direction. Still not able to see anything, but you guys are heading in that direction. Go ahead and give me another perception check as you're trying to follow your nose.
I think in this case, because I don't really have any reason to not give myself a bump, or
Whoa, where's the cocaine from?
Wow. Right.
Timberlake just looking. You've been holding out, and where were you hiding?
No, not
that
at
wet
all.
the
She
water?
wouldn't do that. She's crazy enough already. She doesn't need cocaine. Trust me. But she did, like, when they got in the water and it was deep enough, she would go underwater and stay there
Okay.
and keep a watch underwater while he is swimming and doing his thing. She's got a 30-foot movement speed.
Yep.
She
but
moves faster
he's going
than
to
he
give
does.
himself. He's going to give himself the blessing of the owl, which in translation is the owl feature, the owl section of enhance ability, advantage on wisdom checks.
Okay.
Now watch as I roll a 1 and a 2. I was
mean,
joking, but
but not far off.
That's a 3 and a 4 instead. All right. Luckily, you've gotten closer. You're closer to the source of it. You're not able
what
to...
it's worth, at least his passive perception is now 22 for the duration. So if anything else comes up, I guess.
And Tam, go ahead and give me a perception check as well.
All right.
But for you, Twonk, you're looking out and still following your nose. The scent is coming. You can't pinpoint it just yet, and your eyes aren't picking anything up on the surface that stands out as to the origination point of this smell. So you're kind of just treading water in that direction. Tam, looking around, even within like a 50-foot radius, you don't really see anything. You could see all the way to the bank, and you could see all the way out to where Twonk's feet are at. And as he's...
Is there any discoloration in the water?
Well, yeah, all underneath you from the algae that's starting to bloom.
Right.
But beyond that, nothing just yet.
Okay.
My map doesn't go out that far, so I won't... We'll just say that you guys are currently Tamberlake, you're keeping distance with Twunk. And splitting the distance from shore to Twunk. I'd say Twunk gets to about the 100-foot mark, and Tamberlake, you're at
Okay.
about the 70 mark, so that way you could get to him in one turn if you need to.
Right. Yes.
And then you're sort of keeping an eye down below while Twunk is trying to follow his nose. The best toucan Sam that he can do. And head towards the spell. Both of you, roughly at the same time, Tamberlake just a little bit more, start to see where the origination point is in the water itself. Tam, you see it sort of float up from beneath and break the water just as Twunk is about 15 feet away from it. And Tam, as you're about to make your way over towards him, you see that there is more than one of these things moving up, floating up into the water, followed and connected and covered in the brackish, greenish sort of gloop.
Gook.
Yeah, that you'd seen. It's like spreading between them, and like they're like ripping apart from one another, and it's just
Okay.
mess of. And now it's starting to muddy the waters a little bit. And Twunk, as you're sort of floating there, the first one sort of pops up and floats in front of you, and then not an eruption, but like a little bubbling of the surface as more and more, plus the goop that's around, starts to make its way to the surface.
Do they look like bubbles or?
No, there's no bubbles.
I mean, no, but like, do they look
yeah.
like balloons?
Yeah, they kind of flow like bubbles as they're coming up to the
Okay.
surface.
And they're coming up faster?
It's not so much faster, just more of them. So they're not, increasing in velocity. They're lollygaggling, making their way towards the surface, as if, something floating would. But knowing that these things have a decent heft to them, they're not floating. They're not reaching the surface as fast as a bubble would, because they have some weight to them. And they have to displace a lot more water.
Since I'm underwater and I'm watching this happen, does it look like something's down there releasing them?
You can't
Like,
see below 30
I
feet.
can't. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I will
as you guys
surface
as you guys
and
are,
tell Twunk.
Yeah, as you guys are further out too, the algae bloom has sort of made it almost like a fog on the floor.
Okay.
And you guys are deeper now too, so the fog stays at the same height that the shallower banks are, but it'll extend out into the more deeper parts because it creates a consistency and muddies the water below you. So you crack the surface and make it over to Twunk.
Yeah, Twunk, I think that we should head back to shore, whatever that is, and she'll point over to the one that's surfaced next to him, or near him.
There's like 5.
There are a lot more coming. And it doesn't look like they're slowing down as far as coming up. It looks like something's either releasing them or something like that. And I don't feel comfortable us being out here in the middle of them.
And
the water's getting kind of dirty now as that goop is starting to spread.
Notably, I guess the one directly next to him, as you said, there has weight to it, but it's is it similar to the thing that they found where this gunk has adhered in some way or to something, or is it more just a collection of gunk that's all amassed together?
You want to reach out and try and pull it away, see if it has the same resistance?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you reach out, and just like the last time, it comes away pretty easily, but it does seem that now that you know kind of what you're looking for, that a lot of this stuff seems to be coming out of the potmark holes on the inside. And you do take 3 points of acid damage as you hold it. realize that tingling sensation around the edges of your skins is probably going to start hurting soon.
Yeah, I think mostly out of I'm like, he will let it go, but he will take it Tamberlay's advice and start swimming back, but he's also going to see if he can like mage hand like drag that thing with him just to see if it's like cleared away anything, to see if it's like the same thing that they had found, or if it's like something completely different.
Okay.
Basically an opportunity to like still like drag the thing out from the water without having to keep touching it, because apparently it's acidic.
Right.
Yep.
Also keeps his hands free to swim.
Roger that. Yeah, you're able to grab onto one more of those things and sort of drag it behind you as you guys move through the water. Tamberlay staying at your pace through the water, and then you guys get to the edge of it. You push it up to the edge, and it's now resting there. Let me just move you guys to the edge of the water.
Well, sorry, I guess I did technically just take damage.
I mean,
Alright,
it's
still has
mage hand,
enhanceability.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, you guys get out and onto the bank. Tamberlay starts wringing her hair out again.
I can't. It takes a long time to dry.
I guess. Well, Twunk probably won't get out of the water straight away because he got like covered in that gunk, and was like looking to like wash it off, and then probably maybe at the same time see if he can wash the thing that he brought over, so that it's like maybe safer to hold.
Yeah, the gunk on here seems to be a little bit more resistant to the gunk getting off of it. So, like, you know, splashing water on it or anything like that doesn't really seem to get it off. So the only way to get this gunk off would be to go in with your hands.
There are bushes around, right?
There's some bushes off in the distance.
Okay.
You know what? I wasn't thinking this was gonna be a situation. But since this stuff is already acidic in some fashion, it's like Twelk is actually going to use a cantrip.
Acid claws.
Well, no, primal savagery, but yes, because it does as like I can either like have it applied to my teeth or my claws,
Yeah.
and it deals acid damage.
All right. Go ahead and roll an attack.
It's like, I haven't had to use this in combat yet. It's just a little bit funny that I'm using it here.
Kitty got claws. You reach out with your primal savagery, and your claws start to drip with its own acid, and you don't even affect it. If anything, it kind of like sends that weird like vibration up your bones, almost like pulling your nails on a chalkboard.
Oof.
In other words, it was essentially like immune to the effect.
Yeah.
Right, Twunk will then walk over to his like a clothes to like his belongings, I guess, to like pull out the scimitar and see if like that can help him like cut at the gunk.
Yeah.
Since I think it'll be more effective than his claws.
Yeah, with the scimitar, it's not too difficult. You kind of scrape it away like you're scraping meat off of a bone. And
In fact, like if he can, he'll actually like try to like save like a chunk of it and put it in like one of his vials,
Okay.
for possibly later observation.
Yeah, give me just a sleight of hand check to see if you can do it without getting any on you.
Can I provide assistance?
Would you want to do the holding or do the dropping in of stuff?
I was thinking of maybe like going getting some sticks or something and kind of scraping it off into, like helping him scrape it off into whatever he's putting it in.
Well, yeah,
So we don't have to-
that would require one person doing the scraping and one person doing the holding of the vial. So that's
Right.
why I was asking which one you wanted to do.
The scraping.
Okay, he's doing that with his scimitar already.
Okay, then I will do the vial. I'll hold the vial.
It stings a little bit, as some of it does get out of the vial, but not enough to cause any damage to you, Tamberlay.
All right.
And you... What do you want to stopper it with?
That is a good point. I don't think when the vials were bought for me that like any stoppers were bought.
Well, it's not so much that, it's also that the stuff inside is acid.
Oh, right, the material.
Yeah, some cork and all that. I'd say that every vial is, given with a stopper. I'm not going to be that much of a dick.
Maybe some balled up mud or whatever's on the shore.
Just trying to see if there is anything in my personal bag that would be appropriate.
I just had a thought. This would be a very interesting use of, like, arcane lock. Like, you just stop
It's
right
arcane lock, not arcane door lock.
Well, no, you would
Arcane.
put the stopper on it, and then put the arcane lock on the stopper, because it's technically locking something in place. And
True
then it would
that.
turn it magical, so it would be resistant to some damage.
You know what? This would be a weird case where it's like it wouldn't be a proper stop ring because I don't think there's like really anything in Twunk's inventory that would be more appropriate for this. He can, however, possibly like shove his crystal like into the stopper's end.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, we could take Larona's advice and throw some mud on there too, because I doubt that acid's going to eat away through mud. Will it?
If anything, it makes it a little bit more of a, not as glass on glass type of scratching going on.
Yeah.
I buy the mud wet first and then out to dry.
Yeah. That'll work.
I shall
And underneath it is
continue.
the same pockmark stuff that we found earlier.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
But
it's like
bigger.
I was gonna ask like since I did technically like interrupt it because I wanted to like collect the sampling, but like as we're like clearing more of this gunk away, like do we get a similar looking object or different?
Oh no, it looks almost identical. A little bit different, but roughly the same.
Huh.
Lorona, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Oh no.
Your body starts to desiccate. No, I'm just kidding. No, this is not Indiana Jones. But as you're watching them, handle this and do everything, you also are looking past them out into the lake where they were when they found this piece, and you're starting to notice a darker and darker splotch expanding in the middle of the lake.
Hey, you guys need to get out of the water or away from it.
Okay. Is there something wrong?
Just
Yes,
as you
there's
say
something.
that, Tamberlay, there's a large sounding of water splashing on water.
Where?
In the middle of the lake.
Oh, okay. I'll
Uh,
pull Twunk away from the water with me.
Let me just real quick. There it is. As you guys, Tamberlay just said that, and the noise of whatever's happening behind you is going on, and you start to yank at Twunk to come with you. You see in the middle of the lake itself, where is it? There it is. Rising up out of the water, initially only a few feet, but then it starts to get larger and larger and larger, and you realize that whatever this creature is, you're seeing the back of it. And that will give you guys, and as it starts to turn in your guys' direction, this will give you guys a moment to do something. If you want to do anything.
A run?
Just straight run.
Like run and hide?
Run and hide.
Because I know that both of them are faster than me.
Well, you guys got a turn to do something, so.
Well, isn't that area we're in? Isn't that like behind the road? Or I mean, sorry, to whatever direction of the road, so we can come over. I can get to the road over here. I don't know how to click.
Just
Well, there's
click and hold.
200 feet from the edge of the lake to the road. So you'd have
Oh.
200 feet of relatively open ground, besides, little tufts of forest that are out here and bushes and such, to run if you want to get to the road. But you have about a turn, which is 6 seconds, to do something before this creature is turned around.
Can we hide like over here?
Are there
is
places
high
that we
enough?
can hide?
Tamberlay can pretty much hide wherever she wants. She's that small. She can hide in
I
some
will
of
do so.
the higher brush that's here. She can hide in the bushes that are here, or back in the tree line here.
Yeah, I'll take the tree line actually.
For Twunk and Lorona, it'll be. Hold on, make sure you're counting your.
Yeah, no, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40.
For Twunk and Lorona, you could probably hide in the bushes, and Twunk, with a good enough check, could probably get in the bushes and blend in.
What about here in the bushes? Let's double dash.
All right, roll me stealth.
Oh wait. I have 30, right?
30 feet of movement, yeah.
But you also have your movement and your bonus action to dash if you need to. So that's 90 feet if you need to.
Well,
Okay.
I guess 60 if she's taking an action to hide.
True.
Since you guys are sort of doing this all in the same go, I'm not going to worry about action, bonus action. It's like if you want to run, dash,
okay.
and dive into the bushes, I'll allow it. It would only require, an action or something if you wanted to make something work, rather than just sort of, going full bore for the don't see me.
Get the fuck out the way.
Twunk will make the attempt to hide. Although, like, there's mostly out of a curiosity, since whatever this creature is, they don't know anything about it. The next opportunity he has, because I prepared this originally for the trek, but I didn't wind up using it. But he would actually cast Speak with Animals on himself just to see if he understands something.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll roll that stealth.
Where are you hiding?
Roll a stealth, Lorona.
Sorry.
Fine.
Twunk runs, dashes, and dives into the bushes, and it's as if the bushes didn't make a slight movement at all. You almost get kind of
You mean
worried.
Lorona?
Jesus Christ, where did he go?
What?
So Twunk, you can pretty much get to any of these bushes or the tree line if you want, because you have more movement than them.
Yeah, feeling agility stuff.
I would say he would be going to the bushes if for no other reason than, depending on again whether this creature is loud or how close it might get. See if he could actually hear something. I feel like if he went to the tree line, if this was a beast of some sort, he might potentially not be able to hear anything that they might be saying.
Gotcha. Alright. So, in the bushes, and Twunk runs, jumps, and dives. Are you guys trying to peer out and look at this thing, or just completely staying in stealth?
Of course.
Okay.
Twunk is
That's
looking.
why I only rolled a 13. What the hell this thing is?
Alright, so Tamberlay's looking. Twunk, Lorona?
Yeah, I want to look too.
Twunk is looking and listening.
Lorna is the bush.
Let's not talk about Larona's bush.
Hey.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, do we have to roll perception?
No, it's large enough.
Oh, holy shit. What is that?
As you guys
It's a Hydra.
are all peeking out of the water, the back of this creature starts to shift and morph as it turns around. You realize individual heads and necks spread out from the large mass of the main body itself. As these green and silver creature turns its way around the water and faces your direction. Suddenly, Tam and Lorona, you see 10 eyes staring in your guys' direction.
We stay very, very quiet.
And
Are you
Tamberlake
playing
bites.
tricks on us like group 1?
It extends as it gets closer and shallower, and more of its body gets exuded out of the water. It gets to this edge. One of the heads reaches down and snaps on the top of the fish cage and yanks the trap up. And two of the other heads sort of butt with each other, trying to bite the large net underneath filled with fish, as the main head in the middle sort of knocks them both to the side before reaching up and taking a bite. And as the fish start to cascade out into the side, the other heads quickly sort of ravenously bite at the falling fish that are being released from the net, as well as the sides of the main head's mouth. The far left head, the one that grabbed the trap initially, just launches it in the direction of Lorona and Tamberlay. I need you both to make a dex save.
$18. I'm good. It did it finally. Fine.
Ciao, Lorona. One more natural 20, and you go to jail.
Nuh-uh. Why?
Monopoly
It's not my
rules.
fault.
So you guys kind of both push yourselves down to the floor as this fish trap just goes whizzing past your heads, crashing into the bushes and forest behind you. And the head that threw it is now like biting at the fish that have started to flop on the ground and water on the bank here. There's a frenzy of movements, and then the creature sort of, the middle head still staring at Lorona and Tamberlay, while the other heads are picking up the little bits of feast left over that they can. And the middle head kind of just lets out and this sort of green, acrid, thick-looking mist sort of pours out from the sides of its mouth, and kind of reminiscent of the goop. And with that, the other heads sort of all turn towards it, and then the whole body turns around and goes back into the water.
Okay. Oh.
Monk will make his way out of the bush, looking in the presumed direction of Tamberlay and Lorona. At the very least, he knows where Tamberlay is, because
Yes.
even his normal passive can see a 13. But it's like saying, a creature with more minds than most creatures have limbs.
Yes.
I mean, you could have just said Hydra.
Shall we go then? I don't feel much like swimming anymore.
Like to go.
Monk will go over to recover his belongings and clothes.
Are we taking that thing with us?
Yes.
Okay.
Which, by the way, you could probably have presumed, but Twunk does not wear any underwear, so...
Yeah.
I mean,
He's also Tabaxi.
I'm not worried about it. I've seen worse.
I mean, for the same reason why, you were what's what I'm looking for? Concerned for taking your top off. It's like, I figured I should give that information.
All good. All good. I will, I'll go collect the towels and wrap whatever that thing is in them, and then make kind of like a backpack strap thing.
Okay.
Well, we have two of them anyway.
Nope.
Yeah.
Seems that the one.
Oh, did the
that-
other one?
Yeah, either got destroyed or got sucked back in as when it went into the water. You know, it kind of creates that whirlpool effect. But the one that you were dealing with on the shore is no longer there.
Okay, for some reason I thought I still had it, but I guess we were like taking the chunks off in the water. So yeah.
Yeah. Everything happened. But the one's still there.
Well, I believe we can assume the creature that this came from, as he just like gestures at it.
Yeah.
We should that whether it is new, the previous one, that a Hydra has taken residence in this lake once more. That those coming here should be cautious.
Yes.
And also, they have been taking advantage of their traps. It's like, incidentally, like they took like the fish from like the traps, but like, the traps like destroyed or
Yeah, that's why I deleted it. Just the one that
Okay,
they
yeah.
ate from.
yeah.
Is there anything left of it after it threw it at us?
It's just splintered wood now.
Okay, never mind that. I won't pick it up.
I believe they deserve to know of this.
Yes, they'll need to know for sure. And I don't mind providing compensation for that trap either. It was, I kind of feel like we bothered that thing enough that it came to shore instead of staying where it was supposed to be.
I do not believe that this creature responded to our actions. I
Okay.
believe it makes a habit of this. It, after all, knew that the traps were there and that it contained fish.
Yeah, that might be a problem that we might have to deal with.
It is something to be discussed, but in which case we shall return to Taramesh and, again, that bit of smiling, continue your training.
All right. Let's just strap that thing to her back and start walking.
All right. And you guys start to make your way back towards the town of Taramesh.
Stamberlay managed to break her record of 30-30.
No, absolutely not.
Especially not after that.
No, she can't not stop talking about it.
Halfway through their trek, just like,
But you all make it back to the town of Taramesh after a few hours of travel. Getting towards, well into the afternoon, early evening.
yeah, at minimum, it's got to be like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I guess because Chandra has been a bit of a shut-in. It's, well, actually, I guess if they're...
That's Chandra's whole life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I'm considering like what they would actually do first.
Well,
I think it would probably be best to like go to the hearth first and inform, at the very least, Charles of their findings, since they don't know if Theraphorn has returned or not.
I mean, the fish stall is literally right next door to us.
Yeah.
Do we want to let them know first, or do we want to talk to Charles first?
Would be wiser to ask others for how things must be done
Okay.
in order to not stir up unnecessary wars.
So we go in and see Charles.
Sure.
Okay. So you go inside to see Charles. Charles currently is looks like serving early dinner to. You all have been there roughly, so it's Towin from the jewelry shop.
Okay.
Seems to be some sort of meat cut with a side of potatoes and greens of some sort.
Okay.
Sun falls to greet the horizon. Is of pleasant nature to see one's face again.
Yeah, no, it's good to see you all in one piece as well. Oh, and Talon, would you like specific ale? Talon just kind of nods. He's like, I'll be right back. And Charles heads back to the bar.
Is Shadra still up in her room, or is she downstairs?
Jadra? Gotta find the mute button.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, she'd probably still be up in her room.
Okay.
But if you guys want to approach Charles, he's currently making a drink for Talon.
At the very least, like Twunk will approach. I'm not sure if Tamberlair will do the same.
No, I'm gonna run upstairs and grab Chadra real quick.
I'll be with you.
Like excited children's feet on Christmas Day running up the stairs.
Yep,
But
yep. Can't wait.
Barbarianly like heavy. Knock, 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 very politely. Excited shuffling on the other side of the door.
Yeah, right. Knock politely.
It's no longer her room. She would probably stop the 2 seconds to knock, knock, knock.
No, I would and then reach for the door handle and be like, no, it's not my room. I have to wait. Shit. Lessons.
What would she be doing?
Probably working on your finger.
Chadra,
So all these tiny
are
pieces.
you awake?
I'm trying to contemplate whether or not it would just be she's tinkering with either of those things, or if she's doing something that she wouldn't be able to stop because she's working with explosives. In which case, would she answer the door herself, or would she just be like, "Come in"? Well, no, because if she's working with explosives, the door would be locked. She'll just go and answer the door.
Like right before you're about to pour the nitroglycerin, the knock, knock, knock. Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Put it back on
It's
its
too
stand.
much.
You open the door, you've got like full blast gear on.
Hey, come downstairs. We got something fun. You'll want to see this, trust me. You're obviously at a stopping point because you answered the door, right?
I'm at a point where I was able to pause. It's not a stopping point.
Well, stop. I come downstairs.
I'll be down shortly.
Kendra, the last time you said that, it was 2 hours later.
It shouldn't be 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I told you.
Hour and 52 minutes later.
What'd you say?
She said an hour and 52 minutes later.
No, what did you say?
Oh, I said I totally want something to like have spilt and blown up behind you when she died.
Something. All of a sudden, something catches on fire. And it's like, boom! Door shuts.
All right, well, hurry up. And she'll run back downstairs. Kendra will be down in a minute.
Since she wasn't working on anything too bad, so she would just reassemble whatever it was she was working on, and well, yeah, finger she would have to reassemble before she goes back downstairs. So.
Click.
Yep.
All right, we're good. You'll oil it as you're going downstairs.
Yeah.
Almost like a normal person. Don't even hear the feet steps as they come down the steps. And then there's Chaja.
Twunk, are you talking to Charles?
I assume he at least would have started the conversation while he was waiting for you two to come back down.
Okay.
Okay.
Charles, I suppose I did not ask of this when we made our return, but was there any news from Verifone, the townsfolk, regarding the lake in our absence?
Any news? I mean, any new news? Not really.
Anything of more recent developments?
Recent developments? No.
Call our conversation about some. Oh no. Oh, sorry. That was specifically with Veriform. Walking back that sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Veriform told us of a creature he once slain in that lake.
Ah,
Ever
yes.
tell you of it?
The Hydra, yes. It was a couple of years ago, but he told me about it.
When that creature was slain, did he move it from the lake?
Yeah, it had to because it just kept bleeding, so I guess it just kept contaminating the water. Said he cut it up and cooked it and tasted pretty good.
Well, that's awkward.
Twunk is putting some pieces together, potentially, and did Veriform ever confirm whether this creature was offspring?
Oh, Henry? Yeah, he lives in the lake now.
Named it Henry?
Well, no, he said he was able to get someone to help converse with him, and its name is Henry. That's at least what he said it told him.
It didn't look like a Henry. I'm sorry.
Well, the middle head's a Henry.
Oh,
Still
That
a Hydra.
you
oh yeah.
have a positive relationship this creature.
Yeah, Veraforn couldn't bring himself about to killing a baby. Or, I guess it wasn't a baby at that point, but a child. And instead was able to... he did something with some magic people. He calls it some sort of like beast bond or something like that. He was trying to explain it to me. It was going completely over my head. But basically, it lives down there now and is a form of protection in the lake if anything gets into the lake that would be a danger to anybody else, and we feed it, or the fishermen feed it by catching fish for it.
So then, creature's mind was awoken to new possibilities.
Well, I think it was more of, it was still young, so it didn't know a whole lot. But Veraforn says that it, even being younger, it seemed smarter than the Hydra he killed. And he says that even though, it was an older Hydra and a younger Hydra, they didn't really share the same coloration or anything like that, but he wasn't 100% sure on, like, Hydra genetics, if, it gets a blend of colors from the parents, or what exactly happens. And Charles kind of, like, leans in and goes, I honestly can't even fathom how Hydra do it. Like, that just seems like way too much work. And heads just... And I don't... Let's just say there's some books you don't want to read. And...
Just scoffs.
And I just... So... We're not 100% sure if Henry is even technically the offspring of the Hydra that was killed in there, or something along those lines, but Veraforn did say that even though Henry was younger, he seemed to be smarter.
Well, that's going in my notes now.
Henry the Hydra.
Well, no, the lake upstairs that's north of Terramesh is now Henry's Hydra hole.
Yes. So he's Triple H?
Yeah.
Alright, we'll make Volgart Stone Cold, that's fine.
Oh. I mean, yeah, maybe.
Maybe the Big Show?
I feel like either Big Show or Kane. Those are the two that pop into my mind.
Oh, Kane,
But
yeah.
he's too friendly to be
Kane.
Kane. Oh yeah, I forgot Kane has hair now.
Yeah.
Alright.
But a bit of of relief washes over Twonk's face. It's like, I suppose then it is. One question. It does appear that Hydra even still create something. It could be hazardous, but I cannot determine if it is something that will to be a problem or simply fade, much like after an algae blooms.
Well, I just know that he protects the lake. He hasn't hurt any of the townsfolk. The fishermen love him because he sort of forces the fish into the banks and the more shallower parts of the lake, and it makes it so they're pretty much constantly catching fish. And he's Veriforns used them in the past, actually, fighting other creatures and dragging them to the lakes.
I speak more of this, if this is normal. I know not much of these creatures. And Twunk will at least like produce the vial that he got of the gunk. So
As you're handling it, you feel warmth to it on the outside, and you realize this was probably maybe another hour or two away from eating through the glass. Your crystal's fine, but it seemed to be slowly making its way through the glass on the inside.
hey, corrosive enough to like to break glass bonds. Got it.
Yep. And you're just like, oh. And Charles kind of looks at it and goes, yeah, we still haven't found something strong enough to deal with some of his residuals.
Things.
Yeah. Tamerlane, you still have the shield on your back?
I was gonna actually put it on the table and unwrap it
Okay.
and point it out to Chadra and Charles.
Charles will be like, what's that?
Twunk and Lorona found it. It was floating on the lake, and they pulled it out and washed it off.
Was covered in this very substance, as he kind of like again gestures at the vial. Although now considering just throwing this vial out.
Yeah. It's getting to that point where you're like looking at him like, do you have a biohazard trash receptacle? Charles comes out from around the bar, gives Talon his drink, tells Talon, why don't you come over and look at this? And they both come over and they're looking at it and they go, I don't know what creature this came from. Talon will take out a monocle from his pocket. It's got multiple focal lenses on it. Chandra, go ahead and make a nature check for me.
Great.
Talon's got to make his checks.
Oh, it's better than I thought I was gonna do.
There it is. Okay. Chandra, it is a scale of some sort. Size, shape, and everything, though, it's hard to make out exactly what it is. If you want to get all up in it, you can, but currently there is an elderly jeweler who has his 3 times magnifier on his monocle activated, and is all up in the potmark side of this silver scale. He goes, creature, definitely aquatic. Kind of reaches out and scratches the inside. Mixture of fresh and salt water. Interesting. Goes to the other side of it. Takes out his little chisel, and then he kind of like looks at the thing and goes, Charles, do you happen to have a blade on you? A small one for like filleting. Charles will reach behind the bar and grab and give him one. And he'll go up to it and he'll slowly start to like make slits into the silver. He ends up making a cut about 5 inches long and uses the blade to sort of pull it up and away from itself and looking underneath the silver material. He goes, takes the knife and kind of digs into the hole that he's made and makes a small little few more incisions and pulls out a small, almost cube chunk of dense material. It kind of has a black to peach color variation to it. He squishes it and it's spongy in his fingers, and then he puts it on the table and he smacks it, and when he does so, it like violently gets hard and reacts to his hit. Natural armor. Most likely a skill of a huge to gargantuan creature. In order to say, there's some of the few things that can live in both salt and seawater. I mean, salt water and fresh water. And I would happen to guess at some sort of in between, possibly a very gargantuan octopus or an eel of some sort.
I'm trying to fuse those two things conceptually in his head.
Takes the monocle off, puts the attachments away, and puts the monocle away.
Do hydras have scales?
Charles. Yeah.
Could it be a shed of a hydra? With Henry?
Well, Henry's more green. And though he's got some shiny parts to him, I've never heard it be of this color. And he kind of like turns to Talon, and Talon goes, I mean, maybe if Henry was sick of some sort, it might, some sort of like scale rash or something that might change his coloration. But nothing about this seems to be diseased or affected in any sort of way. Beyond the, and he points to the vial that Twonk is probably holding at arm's length in case it goes off.
Yeah.
Beyond that, but we've seen residuals of that when Henry eats something of a much larger variety.
Perhaps Henry fought off a creature that had taken residence within the lake, and the corpse has been decaying beneath the water since.
Well, Henry will, from what I know, which I haven't had any interaction directly with Henry, this is all just stuff of what Veriforn has told me, is that if something large enough gets within Henry's grasp and is a threat, the few times Veriforn has dragged creatures to the lake to fight, and Henry helped, is that Henry will drag it down to the bottom of the lake and feast on it for a while. And Henry doesn't really like eating large things fresh, and would instead like to, he kind of like closes his eyes and thinks back. Likes to tear a hole in the fucker, breathe its acid breath into it, let it melt from the inside, and drink what remains. According to Veriforn.
Then it is a strong possibility.
Charles will go, either way, I will make sure that Veriforn knows, so if that is the case, it was something else that got in there, or like Tywin said, maybe Henry is having some sort of reaction or isn't feeling well, Veriforn can make his way down there and check it out, you know. Do you mind if I keep the scale until Veriforn gets here so I could show him?
Yes, it is better to see such things with one's eyes than to allow one's winds to give it shape.
Perfect. I will keep it. And like goes over and picks it up, and, like looks around back to the bar. I'm gonna keep it in Veriform's room. And with that, he will take a few steps behind the bar, and you'll see his hands just like come together like a clap, and he'll actually make the clapping noise as the item is disappeared. But either way, thanks for pointing it out to us, and we'll let you know what we find out.
And it is with great gratitude for informing us of the situation. I would have been most regretful should we have had an unfortunate encounter with Henry without this knowledge.
Oh, definitely.
Is there any way to let him know that like we're friendly?
Don't attack him. I can let Veriform know, but I'm not really sure exactly how deep Henry's intelligence goes. If I know Veriform said that he's much more intelligent, but I'm not sure if it means like, hey, these people specifically, their names are this, they are okay.
Right.
It's very much more of everyone in town knows Henry's there. Not many people go to the lake at all, so it's kind of never been a problem. But yeah, as long as you don't attack him, he doesn't attack the people.
Okay.
If anything, it's sort of to Henry's detriment, in case some random people show up to the lake and want to attack him. Because he will never attack first. He'll only, unless obviously Veriform's there and he calls out to Henry to help him with something.
Actually, during the time where like it threw something at Tamberly and Verona, like at the time, did that seem like an intentional action or just like pure happenstance?
It was more of, now that you're thinking about it, the throw wasn't really near them. It felt a lot closer than it actually was, because you just see something flying in your direction, you're like, oh shit, and they both dive out of the way. And it was probably much more of like a, hey, I see you, get out of here.
You kids get off my lawn.
Yeah, kind of that shoot.
Or like a warning
Shoot.
shot.
Yeah. Yeah, because it didn't land directly on them. It landed quite a few feet behind.
Well, regardless, I hope that sometime when I myself am more capable, it would be nice to have a more formal meeting with this Henry. But I believe I currently lack the capability to speak with him on such terms.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to ask Veriform. I'm not exactly sure what he did. Like I said, he made some sort of magical seal with the creature, with Henry, and that allowed them to communicate. But beyond that, I know it took Veriform a few tries of doing different things before he was finally able to talk to him. He tried doing it telepathically through someone. He tried doing different people who could speak arcanely to other creatures and things, but none of it worked. It wasn't until this weird guy from Laufblix came down, a dragonborn, or up technically, that they were able to converse. But if you want, obviously I'll tell Veriforn. I gotta let him know of everything and all that. But I'll have Veriforn reach out to you guys and then see if he'll let you guys talk. Or once, I don't know. We'll see what he says.
You have our gratitude, regardless of what Veriform determines.
Not a problem. I tend to be helpful. But thank you all for bringing this to our attention. Funny enough, we have some fish fillets tonight.
I'm gonna pass.
I swear it's not. Okay, I understand.
Twunk seems unfazed. Although then again, he wasn't attacked by a fish trap, so...
I've heard of thirst traps before, but
He's not here right now.
But yeah, so with that, Talon will return to his meal. It's into the evening for you guys. Dinner for the rest of you could be procured if you'd like. There's leftover bean soup if you want that, Lorona, instead. From lunch.
That sounds gross. She'll just eat her glowworm.
Alright. Ew, that looks gross.
I
Let me
guess-
eat some more.
Right.
Oh, that's disgusting. Continues eating. I guess Twunk might take his fish to go depending on timing, because he might start wandering over to the outfitters.
Gotcha. Alright.
Oh yeah, what time is the curfew? The town curfew.
Sunset.
Correctamundo. And that's right now, since you guys are at the end of the hot season, that's closer to like 7:38. So you guys still have a couple hours.
Okay.
So if there's anything you want to do it now, or forever hold your peace. Wonderful. So many pieces being
We're
held.
gonna rob the place.
Alright, Charles, hands up! Okay, so you guys enjoy your dinners, and all relegate yourselves to your rooms eventually, as curfew is about to set in, and Twunk heads out to go to the outfitters. As far as the whole deal between you and him, go ahead and roll me a. It's gonna be 3 separate checks, I believe. I wrote it down over here. Where is it? Ah, yes, Trunk's sessions. Nope, not the Tamperlane ones. There we go. Okie dokie. So, the first one is a wisdom. So, this one's just a straight wisdom check. This is you and him going back and forth a little bit on your normal talking, and him sort of pinpointing out case in point. As you sort of tell him of the adventures of the day, you're like, I tried to tell them of the one who has more heads than most have limbs. And he'd be like, yes, the Hydra. Henry. He's like, but I did not have his name before that. And he's like, I understand, but you must know that these others don't have the patience, and if you give the correct and too much description of a thing, they will no longer listen. Some may even fall asleep.
Oh gods.
So just a wisdom check for the first one. Just to
I'm going to assume like no enhancements, just like straight
yeah,
checks
this is
each.
just straight because this is over time. This isn't quite
Oof.
like a one-time thing. It's your first time, trying to do this, and though you're understanding that, yes, there are multiple ways of saying something, you sort of just kind of get blocked on the yes, but I'm telling, basically like, I'm telling it how it is.
I'm describing exactly what it is.
Yeah, and so it's sort of this. A lot of your session is kind of going almost in a weird sort of argument back and forth of like, but I'm describing it. He's like, I understand, but most people don't give a fuck about the descriptions and just want to know what it is. And it's like, but I'm describing it so they will know what it is. And he's like, look, I understand. I'm not one of those people, but other people don't care.
It's just like, for example, I am a one who walks between many. No, changeling.
Exactly. And so it's just this like little back and forth, and what it was going to be a 2-hour session of accomplishing this, about an hour and a half of it is just this back and forth of like, by the end of it he just goes, I may need to allocate more sessions for this. We will attempt this at the same time on the next day, but I will try to approach it from a different vantage point.
You mean we'll try this again tomorrow?
Yep. We'll try this again tomorrow from a different angle.
Yep.
Yep. Twonk is making him regress.
Twonk.
Actually, for the
Progressing
briefest
in
of moments,
something.
for the briefest of moments, just like, it is more convenient, like when they can describe it and then give the no.
That's adding more to it. So the last half hour, it's more of a let's not worry about that. Like, we obviously hit a block tonight. We're just gonna go ahead and walk the town a little bit, loosen ourselves back up, and drop you off at the hearth as he goes back home.
Twunk walks into the iron hearth, and like Charles in a chair with a cup of coffee with a single lamp lit over him. It's like, and where have you been, young man?
Do you know what time it is? But yeah, Charles is actually feeding some of the late night people here. You see 5 individuals, well, the back of 5 individuals that are currently up sitting at the bar.
I guess anybody recognizable, or just 5 generic backs?
Not from their backs, no.
You're not that familiar with them.
They're all like head
like
down, eating food, pretty not voraciously, but they're definitely into their food. Probably maybe a long day's work or something.
I think Twonk's mind is still active, so like maybe he would come up to like the rail at least, and like maybe request a tea.
Okay. So you take the little end seat at the end of the bar and request a tea. Okay, he will put together. Yeah. Lavender and peppermint. Give you a nice little sinus awakening. It smells way more for you. For everyone else, it's like, is there peppermint in here? I can barely tell, but for you, it's like, there's peppermint in here. But you're able to sip on that, and none of the individuals are talking. But now that you're sitting to the side of them, you can see that. Where are they? There. Two appear to be human men. Almost identical looking, but you can tell they have a difference in age. Not by a lot, but enough. They are both wearing what seems to be. Actually, make a perception check.
Ooh.
Where was this roll before? Anyway.
Yeah. It's never there when you want it. But looking at them, you can tell that their clothes, all of their clothes across all of them, seem to be pinched and wrinkled in a way that you can tell they wore something on top of them. You have plenty of people in your party who will wear armor or such, and even when you wore your heavy coats in Lonatov, when you took them off, the clothes were disheveled and wrinkled underneath. That's basically the same vibe here. So they have some sort of outerwear that they're wearing all day, probably, and have shed it now while they eat. None of them have backpacks or equipment or anything like that nearby. But you got the two human men in the front here. You got one, what looks to be very extravagantly elven person in the middle. You can't tell male or female from this angle. They long golden hair, very eccentric ears, and they're going at the bowl of food in front of them as well. To that person's right, because you're on the far left, you have what looks to be. At first, you couldn't tell. They have not quite a knitted cap, but almost like a leather cap on. But now that you can see the side of their face, you can see their green skin, but very human-like features. So you're guessing half-orc, and it looks female, even though they are the biggest person out of all five of them. And then at the very end, you have a blue-skinned individual. Looks to be male from this distance. A short mop of green hair, and they are actually missing the tip of their nose.
Like how much of a tip of the nose?
Enough with his perception check to notice, because instead of going round on the end, it goes flat. So not like a large chunk, but just enough to,
Be noticeable.
Yeah. Especially from a profile. The half-orc individual seems to finish their bowl first, and before saying or doing anything, they kind of just tap their spoon to the side of the bowl, and Charles grabs the bowl, turns around, puts a couple more ladles full, and slides it in front once again.
She has an appetite.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, she is the biggest out of all of them. She's about a foot taller than probably the rest.
Well, she certainly seems busy, but like the I think maybe perhaps like Twunk would kind of like I guess like is there a seat next to the blue skinned individual, or is that like
The
the
bar's not that
end?
large. You've got. I basically made room for you to sit at the end of the bar. There is
Uh-huh.
only about 4 to 5 seats at the bar itself. It's very much more of a smaller thing with a larger kitchen behind it. Because there's so many tables and chairs out there, it wasn't meant to be like a full sit-at bar.
You know, I get that. I was just making sure. In which case, like, Twunk kind of his own curiosity, because like he at least maybe has like a suspicion of what this creature might be. Potentially, anyway. Uh, uh,
They look very cute.
yeah. Uh,
Barton?
Twunk would like take his like a little teacup, like get up from his like spot at the end of the bar and kind of maybe walk at least like semi near that one. My apologies, but am I disrupting you?
They kind of like still scooping food out of the bowl, kind of turn and look up at you and kind of slow down their eating. They stop and kind of. I mean a little, but is there something I can do for you?
Suppose not specifically, but I was rather curious to see someone of your kind here.
Oh, you've never seen a Triton before.
I have seen a Triton before. I am simply surprised that one has decided to take residence here.
Oh, I understand. Just go where the work is. There's enough water nearby that I can get wet when I need it.
What did you say he was?
Triton. It's a
What sort of work have you taken upon yourself?
And kind of still shoveling food in their mouth, they'll, as they're chewing, slide up the sleeve on their left arm, and you'll see the Ironhearth brand. Same as you, I suppose.
So you are one of the other members that have taken residence here.
Kind of waves a clean spoon in the air as he's sliding over his bowl to get refilled, kind of like ding ding, you got it.
Here I am called Twunk. What do they call you?
Mock. Oh, sorry.
Now I want to call them Shock, Lock, and Barrel. They around here they call me Sinus.
It's not the name that I had. Okay.
Spelling?
Could I-
Cihnis.
Could I and assume that this is perhaps the rest of your group, or are you all eating here by a circumstance?
Oh, no, yeah, you're looking at the Twisted Blades here.
Who?
Twisted
Twisted Blades.
Oh, that's a different group.
Remember, they said there was another group.
Well,
I said
the one that
misted blades?
Twisted.
twisted.
Twisted blades.
Because the group that I have on file was the Dagger Teeth.
Yep.
Well, that's the first
original.
group.
And then they said another group came in to fill in your guys' space while you were gone.
Well, that other group has a Triton as well.
This is true.
And a half-orc.
I am of the group known as the Bad Decisions.
But nice to meet you, Twonk with the Decisions. You know me, I'm Sinus. Down there we have, he points to the furthest person. We got Stanley, and the first human will kind of raise his hand. His brother Jeffers, the slightly older one, raises his hand. The fancy boy in the middle, his name is Andrew. The elven individual kind of like leans back and gives you a nod.
What was his name?
Erendriel. Erendriel.
Okay.
And he slaps the half-orc woman shoulder on the side and goes, and this lovely lass is Shadbak. She kind of turns, looks you in the eyes, looks you up and down, and gives you a nod.
How should he interpret that up and down? Or just like sizing him up, or
Yeah, it's more of sizing up. Like, she didn't know who you were at first too, so now hearing that you're, you know, another Iron Hearth and of the Bad Decisions, who probably has a name for themselves, is kind of
a reputation, if you will.
yeah, just a little bit. Is kind of putting a face to a name type of thing. And
It's not good.
wondering,
How do you spell the half-orc name?
Shadbak? It's Shadbak. Maybe a slight wondering in the eyes of, is this the one that almost drowned in their own shit? But it's just an up and down and a nod. Not trying to be threatening or anything, just sizing you up.
I suppose that it is upon fortunate winds that we were to meet in such a manner as this, rather than how we met first the dagger's teeth.
Yeah, I heard about that. Them fucking sneaky eye boogers. Yeah, luckily we don't have to worry about that with Andrea around.
So it's just like his mind like hovered on the word boogers for a moment, just like
Yeah, it was boogers and buggers kind of smooshed together.
but like probably making the connection, just like, yes, those are quite dangerous.
Yeah, and just so you know, they can also go in any orifice of yours. Jeff has found that one out the hard way.
Punk's ears flatten.
And Jeffers will kind of like take a big gulp of food and like lean back and go, yeah, and if you're recovering from a wound and it's still slightly open, they can make the way in there as well. Isn't that right, Sinis? Sinis just kind of goes, it's not a good time.
I will hope that such an image stays firmly in the mind and not in reality.
Yeah.
Now his mind has put a visual to the description.
It's a fancy way of saying it, but yeah. Bonk of the Bad Decisions is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, but I am ravenous and tired, and we can all catch up and have hunky dories tomorrow. If you don't mind.
Just as we have greeted the moon this night, so too shall we greet the sun the next.
Oh, mate, it has been way too long of a day to understand that. I will nod, smile, and be back into my bowl. Charles just goes, he says, good night and see you tomorrow. Oh, yeah, alright. Good night, see you tomorrow.
Like a twinkle bound departure, and presumably having finished his tea, setting the cup down gently.
Mm-hmm. Charles, take it and clean it. Alright. Anything else?
So no, I think leaving them to their meals, he'll just go up to his room, maybe mess around with his ball a bit more, and then head to bed.
Giggity.
Yeah.
He'll eventually get there.
Yes, once he has 2 balls to mess around with. But, alright, sounds good. Anybody else want to do anything before completely turning in? Alright. So with that, we'll go ahead and end the night, giving you all a long rest, as well as end the session there. We'll be coming back next session. This is the day that you guys were told Veriforn makes his return. When we come back. So if you need to prepare questions or talking points or anything with what you might want to discuss with Veriforn, I would say do so. If you guys don't have any other questions for me before we go, all right, we'll go ahead out. But if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out and message me, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. If I don't talk to you all before, then you guys have a great week, and we will be back Sunday.
All right.
All right, guys, have a great night.
2.
Bye.
Thank you all for staying with us. Thursday, Tales and Tomes, the original, or the name original for our Thursday group. They finally have put a group name together. We'll continue on with their session at 9 p.m. PST on Thursday, if you want to swing by and hang out with us there. Other than that, we will be having probably some spooky games being played on Saturday. So come by, swing by there, and we'll probably have some fun. Watch some of us squeal and squirm. And then if you need to and you want to and you feel interested, following along with the bad decisions, next Sunday at 9:30 p.m. PST, we will be continuing on in the town of Terramesh to see what Veriform may have in store for our group, as well as a possible full introduction of Ironhearth Group to Ironhearth Group with the Twisted Blades. So, thank you all for staying with us. Have a great night. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.